Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Scenic View podcast. I'm Jonathan Owens, along with Artis Watkins, Suzanne Beasley, and Sammy Klein. The Homeless podcast continues, and we continue to rely on the kindness of others. And I think we struck a gold mine this week, so let's get into it. So let me set the scene for you. Scenic's central office is on Midtown Place in North Raleigh. And across the street from us is a huge studio called Trailblazers Studio. And they do amazing things. If you look at their website, they do post-production on lots of TLC shows, including Sister Wives and Kate Plus 8, I think, was one of them.
Good drama. Lots of drama.
We were without a place to record this week, and we rented a studio, and that fell through, and we're kind of at a loss.
So we so fascinated by the trials and travails of this.
I just love it. So we came to Trailblazer Studio with our hat in hand, and they were very welcoming of us and put us up in this amazing studio, sound system, guitars on the wall, and we are...
Yeah, it's cool.
They've got a cool building, cool facilities. Use them, Trailblazer Studios.
So we thank them very much for letting us come in today and spend an hour in here. But let's jump right into our podcast. And I guess we usually start with the budget, but I think we should start with a bigger story in Raleigh these days. The Hurricanes have tied the Stanley Cup Series last night. 2-2 now. Crazy game last night. Every game has been amazing. And what's your thoughts on it, I guess, first off, as Raleigh folk?
Well, we're recording on Wednesday.
Yes.
So they'll be back. When are they coming back? Tomorrow night?
Thursday
Tomorrow
night,
night.
Yeah. So I think this is... It's always exciting to watch something. And I totally was getting into it because the most random stuff seems to be happening, including the shot that kind of sealed the deal last night.
Yeah. I looked up tickets for Thursday night's game, and the cheapest one I could find was $991 in the upper section.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'll be making that game, unless some of our listeners have a
I
ticket.
don't think I'll be leaving my apartment because I have to drive near the Lenovo Center in order to leave my apartment or go anywhere pretty much. Not leaving.
Yeah, I'm sure it's packed
Leaving.
out there.
Yeah.
I'm one of maybe three people who I'm not watching it, but I got to tell you, Andy Speck on X is giving play-by-play, and I have gotten sucked into every post
Oh, that's awesome.
he does. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you, Andy.
Yeah. Well, it's a very exciting time. There's kind of a political angle to it in North Carolina. Last week, there was a video of the U.S. Senate candidate Michael Whatley, kind of a gotcha video. I don't know if I loved it. Even political differences aside, I don't really love videos like that. But
Politics gets into everything.
yeah, but he couldn't name a single Hurricanes player. But I'm sure there's a lot of people in North Carolina who couldn't name a single Hurricanes.
I mean, I don't think in North Carolina that's going to hurt you as bad politically as if you didn't know an ACC team went to the Final Four or some kind of.
Now, if it was like a Carolina or Duke or state basketball team, he probably should know at least one of those.
Exactly.
But
however, I don't know. I remember way back in the day when somebody I worked for who was really good at strategizing politics said, go to the infield at Rockingham and you can figure out who's going to win a race in North Carolina. And that was pretty much true. I remember when you had to know about NASCAR to win races in North Carolina, but things have changed.
Yeah.
Hockey, it started as a Yankee sport, is what people used to call it when we first had hockey down here. But I don't know. If you like sports, you like... I like sports. Now, I generally would tell you I would rather watch curling. I love curling.
I will say there is something kind of interesting about this Stanley Cup Finals. Last night, Carter Hart, the goalie for the Las Vegas Knights, set a record that I don't think anyone wants to set in the NHL Stanley Cup Finals, allowing 4 or more goals to pass him in each of the games so far. And that, I guess, is a record.
Huh.
It's not a record anyone wants, but...
It's kind of interesting because he's pretty good. I mean, he's like pretty well known as a good goalie.
Well, in defense of that guy, we took tons of shots on goal compared to what they took.
That's kind of the Hurricanes' things. They just throw a lot of shots
relentless
on goal. But
doesn't change how my generation or a lot of people feel about the guy. as a person.
Oh, this is the one you were telling me.
Yeah, the first 2 games of the series, he was booed each time he entered and had chants of "no means no" shouted at him because of sexual assault allegations previously brought against him.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
And the Hurricanes did change their goalie out too, so they had a new one this game, and he did very awesomely.
Yeah.
So,
as they do. He used every body part. That was wild to watch, some of the contortions they get into.
So that's hockey talk
for
the Scenic View podcast.
Tell you what, the one sport I like.
So, I had one more thing about it. So the president goes to the NBA Finals. Is there a chance we'll get him to come to Raleigh to watch the Stanley Cup Finals?
I
Seems like it would be fair, right? I mean,
I think he went to see the Knicks because he's from New York, but I don't know.
And then the Knicks lost, so people are blaming him. But
yeah, I know that's the problem. If you're a politician and you go, it's like the Cruz. Ted Cruz has, according to Texans, since my family's from there, I hear all about this. They're convinced in Texas that Ted Cruz cannot show up at a Texas sporting event, or else
throws the mojo.
Yeah, there's the Cruz curse, they call it. So,
well, that's probably just because he goes to a lot of Cowboys games and they lose a lot. So,
he goes to college. He goes to all of these things, and teams will be undefeated, and then so they just
Well, let's just get into the budget then.
Okay.
I think that's sports talk for us. I saw a story this week from NC Newsline that they may not hit the deadline they've kind of self-imposed on them for next week to release the budget. Is that true?
Sitting here talking about the budget or lack thereof.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently there's some holdup, and leadership saying they're not sure they're going to be able to roll it out next week. Senator Berger, I think, is feeling a little more not positive about it than Speaker Hall, but we'll see. And just some of the chatter amongst colleagues. I talked to Chris and Flint last night. They're hearing that some legislators who are not going to be returning are trying to get some of their special projects into the budget, which, you would expect that. So
yeah,
here we are.
I think whenever the pay things came out, was it last month?
Yeah, the framework.
I think we were all, people got really excited one way or the other. And we were saying, hold your horses. We're not sure. I mean, it'll probably happen eventually, but.
Yeah, and they rolled that out, and they didn't immediately call it a framework. So it kind of threw everybody, thinking that, oh, good, here we are, the budget, it's about to drop. And then it changed to a framework, and,
Well, and then extra money was found, and things just got weird.
Yeah.
But, extra money seems to be found a lot of the time after state employee raises.
And that kind of ties into something you said a week or 2 weeks ago, where someone had said that they never see them meet a deadline that they set a month in advance.
Oh, yeah, the governor said that.
Yeah.
Never seen them. Yeah. So House Speaker Destin Hall said it's still a possibility next week. He said, from what I hear, they've made progress. So I anticipate Senator Berger and I will probably meet sometime tomorrow, which was today, I guess.
I mean, they have got to want to be out by now, for goodness sakes.
Yeah.
There was a big thing that happened this week. Representative Sarah Stevens, who's running for the Supreme Court, state Supreme Court, obviously, because you don't run for the U.S. Supreme Court, she is leaving her seat.
Yeah, June 16th.
Yeah, to focus on that race.
And she's a Republican, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's getting to that point where...
Are they not tired of being there?
Well, and
no, I don't think so, to be honest. Some
caucus members they need to be campaigning. They need to be,
yeah,
getting ready to rock and roll for upcoming elections. And the longer they stay in session,
so it's a mixed bag. I mean, I think some of them really like being down there, and then there's others, especially if they have kids and stuff like that, that get irritated that it drags on. So it's a lot. If you're Senator Berger or you're Speaker Hall, that's a lot to wrangle in your caucus. There's got to be dissension among people.
Well, I saw a tweet, an X post this morning. It's always Twitter to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's always going to be Twitter. That the milk chugging contest is today, and the post. I know, gross.
Milk was a bad choice.
We're going to chug milk.
Explain what it is so people don't even.
So the NC Dairy, the big lobby, they do this every year. It's a tradition. The milk chugging contest.
Legislators chug it.
Yeah, legislators race each other to see who can finish, the little bottle of milk in 100-degree weather.
I feel like I could win that.
Ugh.
As someone who's lactose intolerant.
Yes.
No.
It's just, there's so many things
So-
wrong with milk chugging. But, there's a little bit of pushback on that because, we still don't have a budget, but we're going to have fun
I think-
with each milk.
I think it's supposed to be one of those wholesome,
Yeah.
So this story,
there was a time,
throwback
There was
thing.
a time
Yeah.
when it
and there's a tomato eating contest too.
Tomato sandwich day.
Watermelons.
Just tomato sandwich day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And if they've had that, I've missed it.
I haven't
Hey,
noticed
a
that
few
yet.
times.
I'm not a
It's
fan of tomatoes.
What?
Neither
Oh
am
my
I.
gosh, tomato sandwiches.
I
are
like
the best.
I like sauces and
Yeah.
ketchups and things, but
Yeah.
just as raw, no.
What?
I'm growing
tomato
tomatoes this year to try and force myself to like them.
Man, a tomato sandwich.
That's the
slap on
best.
a little Duke's mayonnaise, salt
Yeah.
and pepper. Call it a day.
It's
I
the best.
want to like them. I just
But
don't.
there's a lot of things like that happen down there that are kind of little wholesome, a lot of throwbacks to our agricultural heritage as a state, which I don't know. I think in this modern age, it makes people feel grounded sometimes to have those things happen.
Okay.
I do think, though, that with how long we've drug on without a budget, I am hearing more and more that I've never heard before of why in the heck are they doing that instead of
Yeah.
working this budget out. Again, this is tough. If you're in charge, you've got to balance
Yeah.
the normal traditions with the fact that nothing's normal right now when we haven't had a budget in, a long
Year and a
time
half,
now.
2 years,
We're
since 2023,
about to
right?
be, yeah.
What is
Yeah.
it? Isn't it tomorrow is like 1,000 days?
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Somewhere.
this story says one factor in the delay is House lawmakers waited 5 weeks to pass the property tax reappraisal moratorium passed by the Senate and sponsored by Berger, even though that was a key component of the budget deal. So maybe there's some hurt feelings about that.
There's always hurt feelings about a lot of things. You hold each other's stuff hostage
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
till you can get the budget deal. There's going to be bills that are very important to important people on both sides. And so that's part of the horse trading in the budget process.
Yeah.
You give me this and I'll agree with you on the budget.
They need some thicker skin down there if they're getting their feelings hurt of these things.
True. Definitely
It's not
true.
the art of the deal down there right now.
So the State Health Plan Board of Trustees voted Friday to raise costs for some members, the members who are on Medicare Advantage plans. So this is around 177,000 retirees in North Carolina. And this is people who are enrolled in the Humana plans.
Right.
Is certain copays and out-of-pocket costs are going up across the board. So that's not good news for our retirees who
No,
haven't got a
absolutely
COLA.
not. Absolutely not. And I told the board that, our folks are they're going to stand on their heads about this. There's not been a COLA since 2017, and that was
Right.
1%. They're about 30% behind the buying power that they should have. And we're going to increase cost.
Retirees on a fixed income, if they're out there trying to find work in the workforce, it's increasingly difficult for anybody that's reached a certain age to do that. And then people want, at this point, they increasingly want employees who know more about AI.
Right.
So what are our retirees going to do? How are they going to afford to go back to school to learn all that, what they've got coming in per month? And now their health care is going to go up some more. So,
I don't know
yeah,
how they're doing
that's
that.
not good. That's terrible, in fact.
I talked to a retiree yesterday who retired from UNC and she fought leukemia. She got through it. She is in remission, but the toll of that on her pocketbook and her lack of COLA, she's going to have to sell her townhome and move in.
That's
with-
terrible.
Yeah, which she said that she lives in Chapel Hill and the costs are very high there and she's moving to Maiden or something or Mebane. But, it's still not. She said she's been there 67 years. And
This
she's gonna
is-
move out.
But this is the society, let's be honest, in which we live right now. I went to CVS the other day, and there was a breast cancer charity that was raising money. And they said, we're literally raising money, not even for treatment. We're raising money for people's living expenses because if they get sick and they don't have family or friends that can take care of them, and they're having to try to meet increased medical bills, they can't work if they're really sick, and we're trying to help them with groceries, with rent, with things like that. Outside of CVS, which I'm glad CVS was letting them do that, and yet that said it all to me. Like, this is where we are, y'all.
Yeah.
That we're trying to,
We're having
Groups,
fundraisers
right.
to look after our neighbors.
right, in the richest country in the world,
Yeah.
this is us. How embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's gross.
Yeah.
It's just gross.
It really is.
So our retirees are, they're just being pooped on from every direction. If you look at it, you're talking about not a real COLA. And we're going to be talking to the treasurer, actually, because he's gaining a lot of ground in terms of investment returns. But will that translate into money in retirees' pockets consistently? That's what we're going to talk to him about. And
that's for next week's episode. We're going to have an interview with the treasurer.
It should be really good.
We're excited to talk to him about lots and lots of things. But yeah, we have the largest generation in American history that are retiring and getting to the age of dependent care. And how are we going to pay for this? And at the same time, we have billionaires who are worth more than, I think Elon Musk is worth more than 50% of the country and things like that. It's just gross disparity.
Yeah, we're getting to that gulf, which has been there for a long time, but it's getting so much worse between a CEO and a worker.
Yeah.
That gulf is getting so pronounced.
Money do you need?
Well, I'm not sure how much longer this is tenable without
it really is.
Massive pushback from the people.
Yeah.
But our retirees, I know that our retirees are pushing back. And I hope, if you're a retiree, continue to make those calls. The budget is not done.
And that's why they're buying their own islands in Albania and Bulgaria.
I thought you were talking about our retirees. I'm like, they are not buying.
They're doing good to buy groceries.
Yeah.
They're not buying islands.
But we digress. So that also leads us into the Atrium WakeMed merger talk, because it's along the same lines, healthcare costs going up. I saw this week that WakeMed officials said that the reason they didn't take the UNC offer was because of competition in the Triangle area, that they wanted to maintain competition. Is that
if UNC owned more of the market, they would?
Yeah.
But statewide, if Atrium creeps more this way, there's actually less cost. So I'm not sure. I guess they were talking simply in Wake County. The problem is this has effects statewide on everyone's pocketbook.
Yeah, we were at the Board of Trustees that met for the state health plan last Friday. There was quite a bit of discussion about this subject, and the treasurer actually had to pull everybody back into the relevant subject matter of the meeting. But there were board members who did not understand that every single member of the state health plan would have an increase in their premium of $7 to $11. So it is not just Wake County that's being affected. It's all of our state health plan members and ultimately
everybody who has health care. I mean, consolidations affect everyone. And if you really feel like you would like to understand consolidation better, understand these issues, and understand why healthcare is just becoming increasingly a game where there's a couple of handfuls of players that are going to own all of the hospitals in the country. We're not far from getting to that. But like in North Carolina, we're pretty close to getting carved up by maybe 4 or 5 hospital systems owning everything.
Cape Fear is buying everything in Fayetteville.
So if you want to understand more about that, there is a podcast called Relentless Health Value. I really suggest it. They talk about it, and they're, these folks are super into it in the industry. So it can be a little wonky, but I feel like they do a pretty good job of making it understandable. But they're giving you the real deal from inside healthcare. And the main thing I think they do the best is point out that this is not doctors and nurses.
Yeah.
They're not getting rich off of this.
All right.
They're not seeing their fair share of any of these wild hospital costs. It's administration of these hospitals, and it's something new that we've not experienced. But they point out in their podcast that the difficulty people have in taking on hospitals is that when we think about hospitals, we think about doctors and nurses. And we don't have any beef with them. We're very, very thankful to them. And hospitals do important, necessary, good work. My gosh, I think we all want a hospital to be there. Yeah. So we want them to make a profit and be there. But at some point, we can't go there just because they're there if it's going to bankrupt our family.
So it's interesting that you bring that up about doctors, not being the issue, because my dad goes to the VA for most of his care, but he needs to see an outside urologist, like a community care which is like someone in the community,
Mm-hmm.
a different doctor. And we are having a really hard time finding a urologist. The one we had scheduled for this month is closing down. And I wonder if that's maybe the issue, that because I'm not sure, I think he was part of Duke. And so they're closing, so we got to find another one. So I don't know, just an aside there.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually a good point. It also, these consolidations, these mergers, these takeovers also do affect people's choice. It used to be that people still wanted to have their choice in healthcare providers. You don't even hear people talking about that anymore because you're getting your choice dictated to you by your insurance company and or the hospital system.
Yeah.
So that situation is very unsettling, though, to think that you can't find
I know, you
a
just think
provider that you need.
You just think that everything's available, right? Like this is maybe that's like the spoils of America. I bet in other countries it's really hard to find people, but
Fair point.
But like you just think you can just find any urologist anywhere, and you can't. It's really hard to find, especially one that takes VA insurance. But so this story says that WakeMed is one of the smallest networks in the state. Atrium is one of the biggest in the nation. The merger would put Atrium in charge of WakeMed. Under the deal, Atrium Health would take control of the nonprofit entity that operates WakeMed. In return, Atrium has promised to invest $2 billion in WakeMed expansion. The deal would enable Atrium to enter a fast-growing triangle market and compete with UNC Health and Duke. So what does the WakeMed patient get out of all that? Besides higher costs.
Yeah, higher costs is going to be a no-brainer. It always happens. And so if you're talking about the hospital with the kind of the glitziest aura around them, I mean, we can't say it enough. If you're paying your CEO $26 million as a nonprofit hospital, it's not likely you're bringing the cheapest aura.
As someone who is a WakeMed patient, I don't care about how fancy my hospital is as long as I can get seen.
Yeah.
And I've been going to WakeMed recently for something, and their facilities are really nice, especially the ones in Cary.
I know, and all of a sudden WakeMed's acting like they're operating out of a MASH unit, like.
Anyway.
Okay, so that's the other problem. The Wake County Board of Commissioners said, y'all need to go, the public needs to be heard by WakeMed and Atrium. And so they had listening sessions. What's the point of that? WakeMed and Atrium have already made up their minds, even though UNC was offering double the money, Atrium was, that this is going to happen.
It says they've been talking about this for 3 years.
It feels like when you are talking to your parents about like asking them for something and your dad tells you to go ask your mom, despite dad being the one who has the decision power in that moment.
Right?
Yeah.
It says they've been talking about this deal for 3 years, and yet it just popped up to the public like 2 months ago. So.
Okay, and so that brought the politicians out, and Auditor Bullock said, somebody needs to look into this. Okay, and again, I think who better to look into it than the auditor? And the auditor's office, as Auditor Bullock has said, is a broader umbrella than people have thought of it before. So I think this is absolutely tailor-made for the auditor to step in. I think people have said Attorney General Jeff Jackson might take a look at this. I think absolutely. There's lots of questions that, again, if you listen to this Relentless Health Value podcast and listen to some of the attorneys around the country that have filed lawsuits over this kind of stuff on behalf of patients, there's a good question there about what should Attorney General Jackson be looking at for us as the public. And finally, the legislature. I'm hearing from our members when we talk about this, the first question they ask is, can't the legislature just do something? If Wake County is doing this weird thing where they're saying, we don't even have control over this, even though it was on their agenda to approve it.
Yeah.
If they're doing that and then saying, hey, go talk to the hospitals about it, instead of we'll sit down and talk to the public, we Wake County commissioners will hold listening sessions.
Yeah.
So, but if you're saying, I don't know if the legislature has any.
They
could
could
remove the certificate of need from these.
Well, they could pass laws
Okay.
restricting how consolidations can happen, especially, if you're talking about restricting the ability of counties to assess their property tax the way they want to, you could certainly restrict the ability of counties to hand over a hospital system that was built with public funds to a nonprofit from somewhere else.
So the Wake County Board of Commissioners will reconsider this vote in August. So we have some time to continue to affect the...
Yeah. Well, I mean, the problem is everybody's pointing at everybody else. Somebody should do something is what every public official is saying in this situation. Somebody needs to do something.
Yeah.
Nobody's doing anything.
So this is our call for all of y'all to do something because there's a role for everybody that we've talked about.
So elections, well, the primaries come and go on here, but there was a story out of your neck of the woods, Sammy, the Western Carolina University area in Colowee, that there was a member of the Jackson County Board of Elections alleged that State Auditor Dave Bolick and another person had kind of forced the closure of the...
kind of pressured them to vote a certain way about closing early voting sites for WCU's campus.
Yeah. So how do you feel about that as a W?
Talk to us about your experience.
In my experience at WCU, because I was there during the 2020 election, the professors there are very encouraging of voting and would also make sure that you guys had the opportunity to vote. They weren't telling you what to do, but they did encourage you to do your research and get out there and vote. Even had some professors who would say, hey, if you can't get into early voting, I will give you an excused absence to go on voting day because they think it's very important. Jackson County is a very large student population. It's one of the primary populations in that area, so they have a very big influence in that area, and I think this is kind of trying to push us. No, I'm not a student there anymore, but it kind of feels like it's a push to keep them from being able to vote.
I mean, I've only been to Western when we went to do the podcast there, and you know that I talked for weeks about how difficult it was to walk just up the one hill on that campus. But I don't remember, to be honest with you, because I wasn't looking at it from that vantage point. Is it hard to get transportation as a student from point A to point B in that area?
Yes. So the primary voting site for day of elections is not on campus. It's at the Jackson County Community Center, I believe, or at least that's where it was, I believe, when I was there, because I did have to go vote day of. And it's very difficult for students who live on campus and maybe don't have a car to get over there, which is why having that early voting site on campus at the University Center was so important.
Yeah, I wondered that, because like at NC State, you could get an Uber pretty easy.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of Ubers there. We didn't have Uber at all when I was there. We relied on each other. We relied on, at one point, there was something that students had come up with that was a way for us to get to and from places that certain students would basically say, hey, I'll be a personal Uber driver for, like, if people text this group chat, we'll pick people up, take them where they need to go.
So we're very resourceful.
Yes.
Even though it was a thing to have to go off campus. And
because like I know at App, they have the Apple Cart. You can get on for free as a student, get on Apple Cart, the public transportation, and get anywhere you need to.
We have the CatTran, which does, it's like the school bus system that kind of gets you from where you need to go and stuff. And I know, again, on voting day that they had the buses that would take you over there if you had like no other way, but sometimes people still have classes and they only come so often to take you back and forth to those areas.
So I think something like this happened at App though a few years ago, that I remember seeing videos of students walking down the side of a road on the side of a mountain to get to a polling place.
Oh my gosh.
State Auditor Dave Bolick confirmed his office discussed the issue with the board chair. Bolick said his office received a call after some board members expressed interest in eliminating the recreation center as an early voting site. He said, we expressed concern to the board chair over the elimination of the rec center.
So is the concern that it's hard to get on campus if you're not a student and vote? Why wouldn't you just have them both available?
He said concerns include the accessibility of the proposed campus location for elderly voters as well as parking and
which I understand, actually.
Yeah.
I do understand. If you're an elderly voter, the
They're going to
university
get
would be.
confused in the university center.
So why wouldn't you just have
It said the taxpayers of Jackson County are paying for the sites. So I think this brings up a common problem on our university campuses. And when I was at UNC, I think they called it town versus gown relations. And that the schools dominate these cities and counties so much that they pretty much...
Yeah, but it seems like from when we were talking to people at Western, the community there is much more supportive than the community was to us in Chapel Hill sometimes.
It's a hot issue.
We must have been much bigger pain than the students are.
I mean, I
Western
could see
Carolina.
that.
Because they do understand that it is one of the
it's kind of the industry
biggest
there.
employers in Jackson County. They have a lot of people in the community around Jackson County work at Western Carolina.
Although I don't know about Jackson County specifically, but I know that some of these counties don't want these young college students making all the decisions with their vote.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's almost like they don't want you to vote.
That's what it kind of feels like and seems like to the students as well, because I have some friends who are still up there and they've made some comments of like, do they not want us to be able to access the voting sites because they don't think that we're going to support the candidates they want us to support? Who cares?
But that's kind of weird because when we were up there for the UNC golf tournament in that area, they were talking a lot about how the students had been a massive help after Hurricane Helene.
Oh,
yeah.
Like they jumped into action.
Yeah.
Because the campus was okay.
Stranded.
Yeah.
And they couldn't leave campus to go home and be with their families while things recovered. So they weren't in classes because professors were so badly affected. Administration, people who worked for the school were so badly affected that they were like, okay, we don't have classes. We're stuck here. How can we help?
I was just kind of impressed with it because I know we at UNC, I'm not sure we were as community-minded. That was kind of on us as the students. But it felt anyway, talking to those students up there and talking to the people that work in the administration at WCU that there is a kind of good connection between them.
Very large service learning community. They are very passionate about service learning and community service in that area.
So
I can see that being a problem at Boone too, because the school is really big, App State. And yet the city and the county are probably a similar size or even larger as far as like old timers who live there and things like that. So it's probably a battle there too.
Probably.
In Chapel Hill, I mean,
the employees don't even live in Chapel Hill at UNC because they can't afford it.
I mean, UNC same with somewhat of WC.
Yeah,
a lot of those professors do have to travel from Waynesville.
But UNC is just so large that it would dominate Orange County as a voting block if all the students voted as a block. But I don't know. It's pretty interesting.
I always went home to vote. But
yeah, I always voted in Ward
I voted
County.
in Western because I can't drive 5 hours home to vote. I can't do that.
So that's all I have then. Good discussion there, though. I like talking about town-gown relationships. Yeah. My first story at the Daily Tar Heel was about town-gown relationships, relations. And so I always kept that in my head. So do you have a Gen Z moment this week? Hey, what about Taylor Swift? And
I'll always talk about Taylor Swift. She was at the Toy Story 5 premiere yesterday. She actually, I thought it was so cute. She brought her own personal original copy of the VHS of the original Toy Story, had Tom Hanks sign it. She performed her new original song for the movie. It's a super cute song. It's very much, Swifties are saying it feels like Country Taylor is back and that we might be getting maybe debut Taylor's version at some point.
Cool.
So people are very excited about that. She also performed You've Got a Friend in Me with...
Let's get some country.
Randy Newman.
Yes, with Randy Newman.
And she performed Short People Have No Reason to Live, too. It was weird.
Huh?
No, she didn't. Randy Newman song.
So to bring that full circle, this is definitely one of our ADHD episodes, but to bring that full circle, you're talking about Taylor Swift potentially going kind of maybe back to Country Taylor.
Yeah.
And we just talked about the schools in the mountains. There is a group called Cigarettes at Sunset it's folks who grew up in Boone, and they formed this band, and it's kind of country meets rock meets it's y'alternative, as they say, but they call it possum rock. So you got to look them up. Cigarettes at Sunset, and they've got this song called Appalachian Raised, and it's just all of a sudden taken everything by storm. But they're a neat group of young folks out of that Boone area, and so
nice. Cigarettes at Sunset.
Cigarettes at Sunset.
I've been meaning to ask you what you thought of Sturgill Simpson, since you're a songwriter.
Sturgill Simpson's really good.
Did you see his interaction with Hunter Biden yesterday? Oh, okay. Well, Hunter Biden's a huge fan, apparently. So Hunter Biden, by the way, taking over Twitter. Who saw that renaissance coming?
Did they determine if it's him?
No, he put a video out that was like, "This is clearly
this is me."
Yeah. So anyway, that's pop culture talk. Oh, the Toy Story 5. So this one's supposed to be about Daisy, right? About the girl?
Yes. No. Well, no. So Daisy, it's Bonnie.
Bonnie. I'm sorry.
Bonnie is who Andy gave all of his toys to after he grew up and went to college. That was in Toy Story 3. And Toy Story 4, Woody decides that he's going to live on the playground to be played with.
Yeah.
So he's kind of out there with the toys that don't have owners.
Toy Story 4 was kind of dark.
It was a little dark. I feel like this one's going to be even darker because we got a lily pad, which is basically an iPad that is turning the children into iPad kids, and they're no longer playing with the toys.
Oh, no.
So the toys got to rise up against the internet and fix it.
Interesting.
Please do that in real life as well.
How are all these toys still together? There's no way.
Actually, I still have all of my toys from my childhood sitting in the attic, and
maybe they play with
has them.
Maybe they play with each other all day.
I mean, that's what me and my brother like to think. We like to think that our little Toy Story toys, because we still have our Toy Story toys too. He has an original Buzz, an original Woody that was released when the first one came out.
Well, to infinity and beyond.
Right?
Just like this podcast, apparently.
we almost got matching tattoos of Toy Story. Oh. We decided for Lilo and Stitch instead.
That's cute.
So play my song.
John's wacky weird question of the week.
All right. Last week's question was kind of obscure, and this one maybe even more. My question this week is, what's something that they got to fix? Do y'all understand what I'm saying? Like something that needs to be fixed in America, in the world.
Powers that be need to
fix? They got to fix this, right? Mine is the whole situation about internet passwords and how things are always getting compromised and you have to change your password every day on every device. And can we figure out some way to not have to do any of that?
So frustrating, even because we have the passkey thing that we can use where you save your passwords. And I swear, I don't know what I do, but even though they're saved,
they never work.
They don't work.
Yeah.
So,
And you wind up with 5 different versions in that thing. And we got to figure this out. It needs to be connected to your eyeball or something. And they just know that it's you. And yes, let's go with it.
Kind of thing.
Or maybe no password at all. Maybe since everybody knows our password, let's just make everything open. So what's something they got to fix? Anybody have anything?
Mine's a little more mundane than that, but at the same time, incredibly important. They got to fix mental health resources.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good one.
I mean, there's not a day that goes by that you don't hear about something either locally or bigger than that where someone who needs those resources maybe could have had a different outcome. But also just mental health care should be standard.
Yeah.
That should be one of the things that comes along with your annual physical.
I wonder if people are, we talked about turning to AI for things like that.
So scary.
I wonder if there's a possibility somewhere down the road where that's a viable alternative, though.
Well, no.
No?
No. Because you can't fully control what's going to be said to somebody.
Well, I've seen things.
We all need therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but if it makes it, even if it's like a soulless robot, at least it can help you.
The soulless robot apparently is telling people in some cases to hurt themselves.
Yeah.
Well, we gotta fix that. We gotta fix that part.
But the thing is, they can also not. A soulless robot can't express sympathy or empathy for these situations that
we can teach it to.
I don't like that.
I think loneliness is a big cause what do they call it? The loneliness epidemic.
Right now, it's primarily the male loneliness epidemic.
Yeah.
Women aren't very lonely. We're very happy being alone.
Yeah.
But
we're enjoying that.
Well, I do think men are I think men are going through it.
Well,
As the male on this podcast, thank you for seeing me.
Yes, you're welcome.
No, I mean, I'm sure. Yeah. But I find like my son, he finds ways to connect with people like all the time, like through
That's
the
good.
gym or through sports, or
that's
he's
healthy.
taking up pickleball a lot. So
I do think personally that there should be more. Men do need to open up a little bit more and be able to talk about their mental health struggles, because it does seem shamed in our society to talk about that.
And maybe that's coming with the younger
Yeah.
generations, but I know
Somewhat.
my age and stuff. You
My brother is still,
talk.
I've told him a couple times, I'm like, I think you could benefit from some therapy,
Yeah.
just because I believe everyone can benefit from some therapy. Especially when I hear some of his music, he listens to a lot of indie alternative, Midwest emo is what his stuff is called. And I listen to the words of some of those songs and I'm like, are you okay? Genuine question.
Are you okay?
Are you okay?
You got to listen to my
Yeah.
possum rock. I'm telling you.
However,
it's just happy.
He's just like, no, it's fine. This is how I do my therapy. And I'm like, I don't like that, but okay.
Sammy, what do they need to fix? What do they need
There's
to
a
fix?
lot of things that they need to fix. Right now, because I can talk about this until I'm blue in the face, ticket prices, concert ticket prices, fix it.
I think
There is no reason that it should be $100 for me to sit on the lawn and listen to music. Because that's what it is. That's what it's been this summer. I've been looking at lawn ticket prices for concerts, like $100.
So I know that a lot of that is probably, the corporate ticket structure and Ticketmaster and everything. But I bet it's part of it is the artists too, because they don't make as much from CDs and streaming as they used to.
Mhm.
See, the thing is, artists are also another thing that they've been doing. They're canceling tours left and right because they have like blue dot syndrome, is what people are calling it, which is they're obsessed with how many blue dots are left after pre-sales and stuff. So they're canceling tours because they're like, well, I didn't sell enough tickets that I wanted to. I didn't sell as many as I wanted to. See all those empty seats? No one wants to see me. There are people who want to see you. Again, the ticket prices are so insane that people can't afford to go to these concerts.
Yeah, if they care about the blue dots, make your tickets $12.
Yeah.
Or go to the Cat's Cradle or something.
Yeah.
I was going to say, they could start playing smaller venues.
Tell you what.
Good days.
Yep.
I saw Alex Warren, and his tour was called Cheaper Than Therapy. I got front middle section seats. It was cheaper than therapy. I genuinely paid less for that concert. And that's like the only concert that I've had that experience with was Alex Warren. And that's because he sets very specific prices and makes sure, I think for that one, all of the tickets were like under $100. All original
I love how this
tickets were
tied
under
into the mental
$100.
health thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
was
All
a
right.
great
Artis, you have
tour.
anything to wrap
Well,
it up.
I was told I couldn't talk about healthcare.
Oh, it was going to. Yeah, I did. I didn't tell you the caveat. You can't say healthcare, although everyone agrees that they need to fix healthcare for sure.
There you go.
Yeah. Is
So
that
I
gonna
didn't
be yours?
say it, but you did.
Okay.
So I'm happy it was set.
Okay.
No, actually, I do have one. Cords. iPhone cord, like not
Yeah.
just iPhone, cell phone cords.
Why do I have to buy 30 of them?
Right. Can we not figure something out to where devices all,
Have the same cord,
yeah.
and it's like
I think
universal.
they do in Europe.
Yeah. Well, I think there's been a push to go to this USB-C, which
Mhm.
the phone. I mean, the phones are now doing it, but you're right, and they die like all the
Yeah.
the cords will just
They just break.
yeah,
They
will just stop working.
Yeah, so somebody needs to fix all that.
Why don't we have like wireless charging everywhere?
Yeah.
I rely on wireless charging a lot,
Yeah.
personally.
Well, that's our show this week. We got a little crazy in this amazing studio of ours, but thanks for joining us.